Morning, Ravens fans, and happy Thursday to you. We are going to kick off your Thursday morning in a great and fun way. I'm going to lay out my perfect free agency plan for next week, and then we're going to dive into your questions on the mailbag. Free agency basically starts on Monday. I would expect the Baltimore Ravens to be decently active, just given the fact that they've got a good bit of roster holes, brand new regime in town as well, and also they have a franchise quarterback at their disposal who's only getting older. They probably feel like they're in a good bit of win now mode as we sit here. Eric DeCosta is going to need to be in his bag next week. But who do you think the better GM is? Okay, is it me? If you think so, type JP down below in the comment section. Or if you think it's Eric DeCosta, give me an EDC. I'm about to tell you why you should be voting JP, but let me know your answers right now. So as the Ravens currently sit in free agency, they have $18 million in cap space. Not a terrible spot to be at. $8 million of that is effective cap space. Both of those numbers put them top half of the league, barely at 15th overall. But again, reminder, if you make some moves, Lamar Jackson's contract, more on that in a second, you will open up a ton more cap space, okay? Let's start with my perfect free agency plan. Number one is get Tyler Linderbaum on a team-friendly deal, okay? Now, this sounds probably far-fetched because he's projected to get paid somewhere around $22 million in free agency. But I also want to remind you that at this time last year, there were reports about Ronnie Stanley getting a ton of money in free agency from teams like the Washington Commanders. If you remember those reports. And then Ronnie Stanley, kind of out of nowhere, took a team-friendly deal to stay with the Baltimore Ravens because he wanted to stay with a contender. So I think Tyler Linderbaum's going to have to weigh, hey, do I want to contend for Super Bowls and get paid $3 million less a year, $2 million less a year with the Ravens? Or do I want to go get a bag, reset the center market in a massive way, but have to go play for the New York freaking Giants or the Las Vegas Raiders? That's number one. Lock Tyler Linderbaum down on a team-friendly deal. I don't want to have any more question marks on this offensive line than you already do at guard. Number two, extend Lamar Jackson as soon as possible, okay? Like, get this done immediately. I would love, as you're watching this video, for it to be happening, okay? Because the second you extend Lamar Jackson, you bring that cap number down from the mid-$70 million to mid-$40. That opens up $30 million in cap space. And also, it keeps Lamar Jackson in Baltimore for longer. I have not lost any faith in QB1 after last season. Thought he had a horrible offensive line. Obviously, he was dealing with injuries since the very beginning of the year. And so I have zero reservations when it comes to paying Lamar Jackson and keeping him on this team. Number three, I do think you should sign Dre'Mont Jones. Okay? I thought Dre'Mont Jones actually added a decent bit of juice to this team when he got added to the mix. Obviously, not enough to make them contenders. Not enough to get them into the playoffs. But also, I think that just automatically playing for a Zach Orr coach defense sets you back. Don't believe me? Think about what happened to Odafe Oweh. He had 0 sacks through 5 games with the Ravens, and then he ends up with double digits with Jesse Minter in Los Angeles. You're bringing Minter to Baltimore, ladies and gentlemen. He is automatically going to raise the level of all the edge rushers, Dre'Mont Jones included, and I think his value right now is at a decent spot where you can make it happen, because if you don't bring him back, the edge rushers you have on contract, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, and Adisa Isaac, that group sucks, ladies and gentlemen. They're not good enough. Number 4, I think you need to get better at defensive tackle. Whether or not Nnamdi Madubuike is back in the fold, I think you go ahead and grab John Franklin Myers out of Denver. It's going to cost you, but guess what? These are where Super Bowls are won. Think about the 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl this last year. Patriots, Seahawks, both of them spent big in free agency, okay? Patriots going and grabbing guys like Stephon Diggs. Seahawks going and grabbing guys like DeMarcus Lawrence and countless others. Look, you have to spend big if you want to compete. This is the time. So go get John Franklin Myers, and you got to go ahead and sign Khalil Mack as well. I still think Khalil Mack has a lot left in the tank. Played for Jesse Minter last year in Los Angeles, knows the system, knows the way he likes to coach, knows what he expects from his players out there on the edge. And while he's not the old Khalil Mack, he's 2 seasons removed from 17 sacks in a year. Okay? I still think he's got a lot left in him. And Baltimore, historically, guys like Jadeveon Clowney come to mind, have been a really good place for aging edge rushers to have kind of a little bit of a career revival. What's your free agency plan for the Ravens? Let me know your 5-step plan down below in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you're thinking for this next week in Baltimore. We got to get to your questions in just a little bit, but real quickly, I do want to tell you that today's the final day to make sure you can get our Baltimore Drinking Team t-shirts to your doorstep by St. Patrick's Day. We've got them in green, we've got them in black, and also, brand new item, we've got these hats for just $25. Same link, okay? Take you to the Ravens collection. They just say beers on them. The 4 most beautiful letters combined to make the most beautiful word in the English language. If you want a green beers hat, $25, or if you want a Baltimore Drinking Team shirt in green or black, go to chatsports.com/flockgreen. Get yours just in time for St. Patrick's Day. Today is the final day. You have to make sure that happens, okay? chatsports.com/flockgreen. To the questions we go. What do you think both Max Crosby and A.J. Brown are worth in trade value? Do you think EDC is aggressive to go after one of them? I think Eric DeCosta is far more likely to go after A.J. Brown than Max Crosby because I don't think that – actually, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to go after either of them, if I'm being honest with you, Giselle. I've kind of had a heart change in the 10 seconds since I started answering your question. Eric DeCosta loves draft picks. He loves them a lot. He has even been quoted in saying, the NFL draft is a luck-based process, and the more throws you have at a dartboard, the better you're going to do in it. So he doesn't like giving those picks away. What I think they're worth is, I think A.J. Brown's worth a second-round pick and a starter, and I think Max Crosby is worth a first-round pick, a starter, and a fourth-round pick. That's what I think they're worth, but both teams are looking for very high draft picks, okay? I think the Raiders are looking for like 2 1s and a player for Max Crosby, and the Eagles are looking for a first, a second, and a depth piece. So, I don't think either of them get that. I don't think we make that happen. Yoshi J7S3K. Do you still want Lemon after how he acted in the Combine? Great question, Yoshi. I do still want Lemon. I don't care how he acted in the Combine. If you guys don't know what Yoshi's talking about, basically, Mekhi Lemon was doing this weird thing where he was like looking at the camera like this and like doing this snake charmer bit. I don't know what it was. That's probably just who he is. He also didn't listen to the coaches when they told him how to run a drill. They said 75%. It was obvious he was zoning out because he ran it at like 10%. Like, it might be crazy to say. I would almost prefer that of my wide receivers. I want them to be somewhat drama queens. I want them to have some level of swag and confidence to them that they can go out there and do anything they want. I think when wide receivers are playing with that kind of a confidence, those guys can't be stopped. So no, Lemon's not off my board after how he acted at the Combine. If anything, he's risen up my board. I don't care. Similar to like the buzz that was going around Tedderell McMillan last year when that video resurfaced of him as a freshman talking about how he doesn't like to watch film. Everybody freaked out. I was not one of those people. I still think Mekhi Lemon's the best wide receiver in this draft. Fut Merchant 2384. Man, that sounds like almost a cuss word. Because Caleb Downs' knee issues that have been found recently, would you draft him as he was at 14? God, it's hard because I think Caleb Downs, pound for pound, might be the best prospect in this draft. I think Caleb Downs could have started 17 games for an NFL team last year. But you drafted safety in the first round last year. You got 2 really good safeties on the roster with Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton. You just don't need another at that position. And so, no, I wouldn't. What I would do, though, is try to fleece somebody who's at 15 and say, hey, look, we're going to take Caleb Downs unless you want him and try to get an extra third-round pick out of it, second-round pick out of it. But I don't care about the knee issues. I just like positionally, he's not what the Ravens need or want right now. Ohio State Glazer Natty. Why do I keep seeing people mock a defense tackle to us in the first round? That is the best part of a D-line, even with Madubuike out. I feel like the only place to go is edge or Vega or maybe a wide receiver. You need help all across your defensive line, okay? You really, really do. Like, Madubuike is going to be back. And then you have Travis Jones. I don't think Broderick Washington's going to be on this roster. You have John Jenkins, Brent Earl. Like, that's not that good of a unit. I'm sorry about it. That's just, it is what it is. Now, I think edge rusher and offensive line are bigger needs than defensive tackle, but I do still believe defensive tackle is a need. But I think Vega Wane is my prediction. Not Kane B. With Diggs being released, do you think he is a likely target in free agency? No. Actually, maybe. I don't think so, though. I just don't know if a brand new head coach in Jesse Minter is going to want to deal with a headache that comes from adding a guy like Stephon Diggs to your roster and to your team. Jonathan Diaz, I think the Ravens should trade with the Saints to get the 8th pick and pick Bain, as I think he'll be there on the board. I don't think Bain will be there at 8. Okay, I don't care if he had 5-inch arms. I don't think Bain's going to be there at 8. And I don't see the Ravens trading up in this draft. I really, really don't. Unless there's a prospect they've actually fallen in love with. In fact, I would bet far more likely they trade back than trade forward. Our last question of the day comes from our main man, Scott's Channel 572. Do you think Spencer Fano could be the pick at 14 due to his versatility and the issue we have at center? Yeah, I do. I don't think he gets to 14. But I do think if he does, he could be the selection, man. I just think they'll take any offensive lineman that they can get. That's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. You can follow me on socials. We will have another video out later today. Make sure to lock us in by subscribing and turn on those notifications as well. So that way, whenever that video gets posted, whenever that video is out there, you guys can be in the comment section watching it right away, okay? Join our Noti gang, our Noti flock, as we like to call it. Subscribe and turn on those notifications.